I thought I'd make this little short video here of how to use the REW Wizard EQ. Many of us like to filter out the peaks in our raw response prior to running the Direct Live calibration. So here are my measurements from a mic array. This is the average of the left front dash speaker. I'll select it and click EQ in the menu. This pops up the REW Wizard EQ window. On the right hand side here where all the settings will be, choose generic. This is basically the most common setting. In the target settings, you'll want to select full range speaker. You notice I already have my house curve loaded. Once you load it, it'll stay loaded until you change it. Of course, I won't get into why I use this particular house curve, but I would recommend using the target curve you're using in Direct Live. Use it here to tame your peaks of that particular target. The next area will be filter task, setting the area that needs to be filtered or the EQs need to be set for. And this is the dash speaker mid-range. It's a bandpass from 200 hertz to 2500 hertz. Although it is a full range measurement, I'll go ahead and set that to 100 to 10,000 just to get that last little peak out there. So that's the area that'll be corrected. You'll notice here I have no individual max boost. I have no overall max boost because I don't want to do any boost filters. I only want to do cuts. So the flatness target here is 1. Generally you'll choose 1 to 3. 1 being the most aggressive, getting the response within 1 dB of the target curve, and then 3 being less if you have some reason to need to cut back on the filters. On a wideband speaker, you could get into needing more than 10 filters where your miniDSP is capped at 10. Normal three-way speaker, active speaker situations, you probably won't run into that. You also can use the calculate target level response. To me, that's not quite aggressive enough, so I'll just back it back down to 75. We have all the settings ready. Match response to target is how we're going to calculate those filters. Of course, you can see what it does here. And you click on EQ filters at the top here. This will show you the filters that it calculated. There are 6. And you'll have your various settings here, the frequency, the gain or cut in this case, and the Q for each one of those. And again, you can manually enter those into the miniDSP in the PEQ settings for each speaker. So we'll X out of this and do one more. Left front tweeter. We select the speaker we want to EQ, click EQ. Again, we'll need to select a full range speaker. We'll need to set our target range or match range. In this case, the tweeter here is going to be crossed over at 2500 hertz. Peak goes down to just a little above 1200 there. So I'll just put in 1000 to 20,000. I'll leave my flatness target at 1. It's a little bit too aggressive on the target, so I'll move that up a little bit here. Just move it up to about 77. And now we'll do the match response to target. Get a little warning there about the average frequency response. You can just click OK and ignore that. And now we'll get our EQ filters. There's 5 there. So let's just say if we bump this to 2 and rerun it, that drops us down to 4 filters. If we bump it up to 3 and rerun it, you can see how it doesn't knock some of those peaks out when we increase it, but it does drop it down to 2 filters. Generally speaking, I'm going to leave mine at 1. I don't have a limit on the PEQ filters really because I'm using the Helix Filter S for my PEQ filters, and I have up to 30 available. But in most cases, 10 should be plenty in the miniDSP unless you're using those PEQ filters post-Derrick Live calibration for low shelf filters or your house curve or some other reason. How you use the EQ filters for Room EQ Wizard, and that's a wrap.